Dozens of people are in hospital after a gas explosion in Paris set several buildings on fire. The blast in the city's 5th district caused the front of one building to collapse. Firefighters are on the scene battling the flames whilst the police are trying to keep people away. Natacha Butler joins us now from Paris. Natacha, you're at the scene. You're as close as you can get. Tell us what you can see there.
Yeah, we're just a few streets away. This is where police have allowed us to get to. And if I just step out, you might be able to see at the end of this street, firefighters and some police officers that have been at the scene. I mean, I think I can actually see a stretcher down there and an ambulance, somebody on it. So they have been working very hard, emergency services, since around 5 o'clock, which is when we first heard a large explosion. I was actually very close to this area. I heard this explosion, thought it was a sonic boom. It only became clear a little while after that it was something else, because there was a huge plume of smoke in the air. Some eyewitnesses talked about how windows were rattling. Somebody who lived nearby said to me that they felt as if their apartment was shaking. What we know now is that police are saying that it's likely that a gas explosion caused a building to collapse and sparked fires in adjacent building. That building that collapsed was the Paris American Academy. We now know it's a fashion school. In fact, one of the teachers from that school was here a little while earlier, very concerned because he hadn't heard from some of his friends. Although there were no classes going on at the time, of course, there are still people working in and around the building. And if you just look this way, you probably see some police officers, but also we are surrounded by a number of residents who've been trying to get home, who are trying to ascertain what has happened to their apartment building. They're, of course, very shaken and worried about any damage there might be, and of course about anyone they know that could be injured.
Absolutely, because tell us a little bit more about the area that you're in. This is a huge explosion to have happened in the middle of a city.
Precisely, a huge explosion in the middle of Paris. We're in the 5th arrondissement. It is quite an upscale part of the city, very close to the famous Luxembourg Gardens, where tourists like to go, Parisians like to enjoy them too. And it is a residential area. And look, Paris is a very densely populated city, apartment blocks and people in the street. This is the sort of time when this explosion happened, around 5 o'clock, a sort of time when children are going home from school, where people are starting to filter away, going home from work. So there would have been people in the street. There would have been people in the street anyway, as there always are in Paris, because, as I said, it is such a densely populated city. And that is why it is such a concern and why emergency services are keeping people away. They want to make sure that they have really searched through the area. There are still people that are believed to be missing, that haven't been accounted for. They weren't necessarily here, but their families don't know where they are. So that is why emergency services still very much cordoning off this area until they know that people can be let back in.
OK, Natacha Butler joining us there from central Paris, where that explosion happened a couple of hours ago. Thanks very much, Natacha.